Okay, hello. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Aphrodite, and this is Aphrodite's house. So, today's video is going to be more of an energetic, like, world update based off of the downloads that I've been getting over the last couple weeks. Just some very not basic but important information Spirit thinks that everyone needs to know who's tapped in on this level. Okay. So I'm actually going to start with my notes, just because it was a lot of channeling. So the one of the first things is what feels like chaos will soon prove to be order. There is a specific way that things kind of need to be done at this time, so it seems a little hectic and chaotic, and like it should cause panic, but it actually makes pretty good sense if you've been like paying attention. And so it's the people who are tapped in on that level kind of get it. It's like sitting back and just watching. We're entering a state of like complete reset, and the way that this is the way that it seems like things are being gone about it is a direct attack on the divine feminine, and I'm just gonna put this to the side. A direct attack on the divine feminine, and it kind of there won't be room to stand for it. That's actually what's going to force kind of this hard like reset, which is why I feel like a lot of people have been asked to go back and do shadow work, heal trauma, really let go of as much as possible before this reset, because where you're at when the reset takes place is kind of what you're going to be stuck with as like your preset, so like your new default. So a lot of people are literally going back, healing traumas and things like that to get access to other abilities that they may have been cut off to or not exposed to as much. So that's going to be a big one too. Grounding, affection, and protection. What I'm actually getting from this is don't be so naive. There is, like I said, there's this kind of grand reset, and things that I've noticed is that those who kind of abused their gifts, lied about, what little gifts they did have to kind of accentuate them, and all of these people who have just been kind of like giving out false information are gonna try to cling to other spiritualists under the guise of like, we're your friends, I'm just not really tapped in right now, I don't feel too well, can you help me out, like what's going on? False friends spreading false information, really affecting people's lives, affecting the paths that they take and things like that. And you're being told there's really nothing you can do at this point. You kind of have to be worried about yourself and your tribe, and you need to do everything that you can to protect yourself. Stay centered, and don't let people kind of emotionally manipulate you or guilt trip you. I mean, as a spiritualist, I'm sure a lot of us do know what this feels like. However, I feel like even as spiritualists, our judgment can get clouded, or we think that we know so much that source, whomever it is that you commune with, so source, the one true creator of everything, because I don't say God, I don't do that, but source, the one true creator of everything, your ancestors, your deities, your spirit animals, your animal guides, all of that, whoever you commune with, you might get to a point where you reach such a high peak that you think that you know better than them, and not on a rude way, but in a, oh, are you kind of like testing me? Is this the test? Like, maybe it's just that this isn't my guide speaking or whatever, and it's my anxiety, and the test is getting over my anxiety and getting over my fear of being wrong, so I'm just gonna, you know, ride with it. I'm just gonna ride. Don't do that. Please don't do that. I'm guilty of doing that. Please don't do that. Yeah. It's funny that we have ritual fertility and abundance here, because I was literally just saying that it's a direct attack on the divine feminine. Also, there was a particular way that one of my guides worded it, so I'm just going to read it off the paper. It's saying that it's highly suggested for entertainment purposes only. I don't want to get in trouble or anything, but depopulation didn't work the way it was supposed to, supposedly. So now this is a direct attack on the womb, the life giver, the divine feminine. There will be deaths from not only pregnancies, but people doing what they can to get forced abortions. Forced meaning like not someone having them get them, but them feeling forced, like they have to do the most to get something that should be easily accessible to them. This is part of an agenda I'm hearing to remove or distort the feminine. So there's no, you know what I mean. I'm not going to go into depth about that. But as I've already stated before, we're getting ready to enter into a hard reset. So most divine feminines, or those who connect more to the divine feminine energy, I've noticed have moved into this sort of, I'm not going to allow my energy to be manipulated. I'm upset, but you're not going to get that out of me. Instead, I'm going to be strategic. I'm going to plan, and we're going to figure out how to move forward. We're going to figure out how to make the world new again. I know a lot of spiritual people have been called to be future spiritual leaders. So please don't be shocked or confused if spiritual individuals take a step back. It's not that they have nothing to say. It's not that there's nothing going on. It's that when the time comes, they're going to be asked to stand in the forefront. As I'm trying to explain this, someone is talking. So I'm just trying to... Yes, spiritual leaders are going to be called to the forefront. Oh, and those who are really about it, those who are really into that lifestyle, those who would really die for what they believe in, are going to answer the call 110%. So let people be at this time. There's a plan in place. Okay, so more on the reset then. So those who did the work and maybe even got access to different parts of themselves, or have seen different versions of themselves in different timelines, experienced these different things, and are aware that they have access to these particular abilities, once they start to really do the work and do the healing and don't just expect nice things to happen. Like I said, that's your new kind of default. It's going to be a great building block for you, and the people who really didn't do that much work, who really were set in their old ways, who didn't even try to make these huge changes that they were being asked to make for months and months, they're going to be kind of stuck. So it's always going to be this weird kind of middle ground, because you can't elevate and you can't necessarily descend at this point. Like, when all of this comes into play, there's not really going to be... You can't go back, you know what I mean? You can't unknow, you can't unsee, but you also can't fully elevate the way that you want to. So it's going to be a really awkward middle place, and there's nothing anyone can do about it to help you. You kind of set the tone for this yourself. when you chose to do not necessarily nothing, but the bare minimum of something. I really wanted, I know I have another deck here. This is another 2. Might as well though, because this is my alien deck, my the box is around here somewhere. I have been letting all of my cards charge. Wow. Predator survival. Tyrannical. Interesting. What is this? Infinity, eternal, past life. Interesting. It's almost like we were just talking about that. Okay. Do you have any more information on like world updates that I can give that you feel comfortable? Because we're not supposed to know everything about everything. Or just world updates in general. Now these are meant to be, they can be read in reverse. I'm not going to read them in reverse today, just because Agarthians, manifest, multidimensional perception, attunement. This is funny because I was just talking about seeing other versions of yourself. You may get that a lot these days, or for like the next couple of weeks while you dream actually. And then the grays, short grays, not the tall grays. Timid, misunderstood, and shy. Based off of my understanding from the book that I read, the grays, the shorts, and the talls actually work for the reptilians. So I don't really think much more needs to be said about that. I would just add that everyone should be a tad bit more precautious. Make sure you have your spiritual protection in place for when you go out, even when you're in the house, when you sleep. Cleanse as much as possible. Make sure you cleanse with the windows and the doors open so that the negative energy can actually be removed from your space. Make sure you're doing your shadow work. Make sure you're watching what you put into your system, and make sure you're not constantly being distracted by the things that you see happening around you. Instead, you need to be focused on what's going to help you elevate to your highest timeline, your highest vibrational timeline. You need to be focused on honing your gifts and seeing where those gifts lead you in terms of what's coming next with the way that we're getting ready to have a mass reset. And just get yourself in order. You know, pay close attention to what's happening to you, and not so much everything else outwardly, unless you are decoding and things like that. I wouldn't. It's mostly just, I mean, you know what it is. We're not gonna get into that in this video, but this was my world update. Between now and July 5th, it's going to be popping, it's going to be crazy. The earth element. It's going to be popping, it's going to be crazy, a lot's going to be happening, and then under that we have the Anunnaki. Fun. Oh my god. Controlling, drama, conflict, or interest. Survival, adaptable, reliable, interesting. Focus on yourself. I was just saying that. Don't pay attention to what's happening outwardly. Pay attention to what you need to be I love how this just lines up. So this is what I got in terms of a worldly update. I'm not gonna do too much because I know that once I start doing too much, I start getting unwanted visitors, and we're not gonna do that today. I don't want to get too in-depth in these things, but please feel free to email me to book a reading. The website's currently down. It'll be back up sometime over the weekend or possibly on Monday. But the website's down for now. I'm just completely redoing everything, maintenance and all that. So please feel free to email me if you'd like to book a reading with me, on how you'll be affected when the reset takes place, and how you'll be affected when CERN is turned on, and where your energy is kind of leading you at this moment. Until then, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and just remember to be mindful about where you're putting your energy and how you're allowing your energy to be utilized. You don't want it to go towards the wrong thing. Yes, please take care of yourselves. Please, English. Please take care of yourself. Please stay blessed, and yeah, hang in there.